MG4, MG's newest EV, was first seen and launched at the Fully Charged show here in Sydney, Australia back in March, 6 months ago, and since then it's been seen on the road testing in Melbourne and Sydney. More recently it was seen being delivered off the back of trucks, so we knew it wasn't far away. Now finally, in the last couple of days, it's available to order and you can test drive it now. I'm Roscoe, this is Amazing EV News, and we're coming to you from Sydney, Australia. And we thought it's been pitched up against the BYD Dolphin as the cheapest EV in Australia around the 40k mark, and there's a lot of competition in that space and bragging rights. So we thought, let's get on the configurator and see what you get for your money and see what other options are available as well. Before we dive into the website and have a look at the MG4, let's have a look at what MG displayed at the recent Goodwood Festival of Speed. The Cyberster. They first showed this as a concept or a display car a few months ago. No one thought it was coming to production. Then at Goodwood Festival of Speed recently, they actually had one that drove and ran. This is going to be a hypercar beyond almost anything else, so it's real and hopefully it's coming to Australia. And speaking of Australia, MG have been here for some time now and have been steadily growing as a more budget-conscious brand. They've had a very successful range of cars as they've rebuilt the brand since Chinese took ownership of 2007. Of course, it was famous dating back almost 90 years as a brand from the UK, dedicated to small, lightweight sports cars, petrol-driven, of course. And then it sort of went and almost disappeared until it was rescued in 2007. Gradually, it's rebuilt and gained a reputation as more of a budget-conscious brand with the MG3, but more recently, the MG ZS EV has been their main contender as an EV. That is till now. Now we've got the MG4 and they're right back in the game. Alright, so let's jump in and have a look online, just see what models are available, see what the options are in the configurator and see what sort of pricing they have put on these MG4s. We'll go into the MG Australia on the search engine. We're using Bing, but we've got no preference. And first up is Auto Trader, then we've got mgmotor.com.au, the official site for MG in Australia, mgmotor.com.au, where they've got all the range. And top billing goes to the new MG4 electric performance, retold. You may find you may end up getting redirected to your local city site. We've found a couple of other options. If we were to Google MG Sydney, for example, you might go straight to sydneycitymg.com.au, and that looks very similar to the corporate site. So either way, you're going to be redirected to your local state for pricing, but the Sydney City MG site, slightly different, but very similar to the corporate site. Let's stay with the MG corporate site for now. The MG4 comes up as the main photo on the gallery, of course, looking resplendent in that metallic orange colour. Looks like certainly it's a new direction in styling for them. Some of the older ones might be accused of lacking a little bit in style. First thing you might notice is those are plastic wheel covers. They are on 17-inch wheels. They're not alloys, well, from what we might have seen on the pre-delivery vehicles, they may be alloys underneath. Let's jump down and actually have a look at the models that are available, and we'll work our way back again. We've got the Excite 51, we've got the Excite 64, we've got the Essence 64, and we've got the Long Range 77. And let's select our state, New South Wales, for pricing, and let's jump straight in just to see how close they are to the 40k mark they promised on the road as one of the cheapest EVs in Australia. And I'll scroll down again, and there we have it. New South Wales drive away, 40,709. Close, but not quite. All those features there I'm not going to go through just yet, but the key facts here: 250 newton meters of engine torque, rear wheel drive, that would be one motor, and a 51 kilowatt hour battery, which for the size of the car is on the smaller side, but again, for the price, to ensure that they got something close to 40,000, that's the size battery you get. Again, just by way of example, a Tesla Model 3 is going to give you something like a 77 kilowatt hour battery, and so it's well below par. But don't forget, it is about the size of a Toyota Corolla hatchback. Let's work up to the top of the range first. If we go to the long range and work backwards, let's go, if you throw everything at it, from 57,709 you get the long range 77. And of course it's 77 because it's got a 77 kilowatt hour battery. Still rear wheel drive. The engine is more powerful at 350 Newton meters. So the extra features are added as the models go up, but just to give you an indication, it has got much better acceleration if that's important to you. And of course it's the long range version, and you're getting up to 530 kilometers for your full charge WLTP. And if you're not sure what that is, we Google WLTP and you'll see that that's an international reference to compare vehicles. Not actual range, but just under ideal conditions, and it's best for checking the relative range between vehicles rather than actual on-road. But 530 is pretty generous compared to other vehicles. Similar EVs doing 400, 450, 530 is a pretty good whack. But again, you're getting up to a pretty high premium over the base model. $17,000 for their extra features and the extra range. And sure, that gives you a few other bits and pieces, larger wheels and a few more appointments inside. But overall, that's a pretty big jump to get that extra range. And you might have heard me before, but I'm not sure if that's worth it. Getting another 130 Ks in range, unless you're doing a reasonable amount of long distance driving, country driving, around town and with normal day-to-day charging, I'm not too sure if that's really something that's going to justify the price increase. Let's jump back to the Excite 51, the $40,709 version on the road. While we're here, what you get to pay in different states. Again, we've been through this exercise with other vehicles, but just to give you an idea of local stamp duties and delivery costs, and this doesn't include rebates that each state are providing. New South Wales still have rebates available. Queensland have rebates available. Other states have phased them out or don't have rebates available. For example, in the ACT, $40,287, so slightly cheaper than New South Wales. From experience, Northern Territory's got the same stamp duties and taxes as the ACT. And then let's have a look at WA working backwards. Usually the most expensive state with the highest stamp duty and no other rebates of any sort. So here you're looking to pay for the $40,000 version, $42,618, and Victoria $42,127. Pricing in Tasmania, very attractive, $40,284. So that competes very well. And a quick look at South Australia, $41,711. Queensland, of course, they have the $6,000 rebate at the moment. After this figure, Queensland, $41,197. So the variations are due to local state-based, if you're overseas, different state-based stamp duties or local taxes, transactional taxes, we call stamp duties here in Australia, and slightly different delivery charges. I haven't seen a breakdown there yet. I'll see if we can get a breakdown of that. Other dealers normally show that. Let's go back to New South Wales. That's where we live, and that's where we'll continue. All of those prices are for the base model. As we jump into some of the options, the base model, Dover White, which is a zero-cost option. As soon as we start to look at the other options, the Brixton Blue, the Diamond Red Metallic, the Black Pearl Metallic, the Volcano Orange Metallic, this was the show colour. This is the show car, the fanboy colour. The media colour is also a $700 option. Camden Grey Metallic, $700, and the Sterling Silver Metallic, $700 as well. So anything apart from white adds $700 to the base price. If we choose the Volcano Orange Metallic, that'll add $700 to the price. But for the base model, that will give you reversing camera, driver's 6-way adjustable seat, range up to 350 Ks WLTP, electronic parking brake, MG Pilot, Now, the MG Pilot has got a number of different features, so let's jump up to that now while we're at it. And that was a big chunk of the website that we scrolled over after the action panoramic shots. That consists of a number of different features, and they're outlined in these graphics here. And we'll jump back to the start of this carousel and have a look at what MG Pilot is. So it starts with traffic jam assistance, which shows a car getting stuck in a traffic jam, and then, to be honest, I'm not really sure what it does after that. Get out of that traffic jam. But speed assistance system is handy. That's where the car is picking up the local speed limit for the autopilot. MG rear traffic alert. It's got sensors for anything driving behind you to help you pull out into open traffic. That's very handy indeed. Lane keep assist. Lane keep assist using radar, LiDAR system to actually keep it in between the lanes. Intelligent high beam, that's handy, so it'll automatically adjust the high beam for oncoming vehicles at night without you adjusting it. Very handy indeed. And blind spot monitoring. It can warn you when vehicles are approaching your blind spot to help you safely change lanes. That's the MG Pilot system, driver safety technology. All those you get with every vehicle. Very handy indeed, and quite a lot of tech involved for a budget car. 0 to 100 kilometre time of 7.7. I'm not big on speed tests myself. If you're going to drive a car like this around the city, you're going to drive normally, and you're going to be driving at 40 to 50 k's without worrying about burning anyone off at the line. But rear-wheel drive, 10.25-inch touch sensor, 7-inch digital cluster for the driver as well, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 17-inch wheels we mentioned before with aero covers. It has got some towing capacity. I probably wouldn't be towing anything with it, but it has also got the split folding seats, auto stop start and keyless entry and vehicle to load. So full specs, if you want to go into there, and I'll leave a link below. This is a link to the PDF which gives you the specifications for every model. I'll leave a link below in the description. It's just like the old-fashioned brochure. While we're here, we will jump and have a quick, more detailed comparison of some of the basics of what you get over the various models. The four models there: Excite 51, Excite 64, Essence 64 and Long Range 77. The number after the name refers to the battery size. It's as simple as that. Here's the battery capacity: kilowatt hours 51, 64, 64 and 77. That's easy to work out. Battery capacity usable is a fraction less, and it varies a little bit, but that's normal. The least drop there is the smallest, so that's handy. Again, it's not a major factor. It's the difference between usable and nominal. We'll look up in a bit more detail as well, or you can Google that yourself. Maximum power. The Excite has 125 kilowatt, pretty small. The Excite and Essence 64, 150. With amazingly similar torque for the three base models and the almost 50% more for the long range model. 350 Newton meters of torque for the long range 77. 0 to 100k speeds drop a little bit, but not significantly. It would make any difference. You may have also seen, which hopefully they'll bring out here or consider for Australia, already in the UK, they've released an MG4 EV X Power, a real performance version with a 64 kilowatt hour battery, not the long range, somewhere in between, but giving you 320 kilowatts and real acceleration of 3.8 seconds for 0 to 100k, so almost half any of the models that you can get here in Australia, and it certainly looks the part. They've put some sporty kit on it, different wheels, and it's starting to get to be a real hot hatchback contender, the first we've probably seen from any EV manufacturer. But let's go back to the Australian offerings before we tempt you too much or get you to wait for something that may not be here for another year or so at least. There's no news on that confirmed at all. So we've got the major differences being the battery size to really economise for the base model. Again, it's hard to justify to jump to the long range version apart from extra specifications on the inside, but That gives you the full summary of the power, battery size and range. From here, if you wanted to cut to the chase and book a test drive, we click through there to a generic booking site page where you usually enter your details and select your model. I would imagine if you sent it off today, you'd be contacted very, very soon afterwards by a representative from your local dealership. Alternatively, they've got the chat line here, where apparently we've got Marcus on the line from MG Australia, who's a real person who could chat to about all sorts of things, but we won't take advantage of Marcus this afternoon either. So just going back to the MG4, the gallery was certainly worth a closer look. Some of the images and the detail from the inside of the car before you get to it are very impressive indeed. And no doubt from the word we've had from the UK for over a year and first impressions from driving here and looking at it ourselves, it is a very classy bit of kit. You can see the fit and finish on these images here and the blurb. We like the design, we're big fans of the style, and you don't get the rear spoiler on the lower end models, but you do get the other features of the bodywork, which do make it very attractive indeed. For some it might be a little too much plastic, but it is very tidy indeed. Here you also get some details on the MG Charge Hub, which you can buy and have installed and charge in your own home. We'll have a look at a little bit more detail about charging speeds for the different models shortly. There are some differences in charging speeds. Tech forward ingenuity, there is app control. There's also limitations on some of the model as to whether they have full app control as well, if you read the fine print. 17-inch wheel covers, again these are a close-up of the 17-inch wheel covers. Bridgestone tyres on this model in the imagery on the website. We noted on the vehicle that we saw in Sydney a couple of weeks ago, it had a Bridgestone symbol on the tyre itself. Looks like they've come out with some reasonable quality tyres, but couldn't confirm which actual Bridgestone model it was. On the inside, it is tidy and very well built. Unfortunately, you don't get the wireless charger on the base 2 models, only available on the Essence 64 and Long Range 77, so that's disappointing. I would have thought wireless charging was pretty much standard now on most EVs, but you've got to make some concessions for a base model, and that's going to be one of them. Disappointing, I think. And don't forget the ANCAP 5-star safety rating it recently got. It had a 5-star Euro NCAP rating, and it's just received a 5-star ANCAP rating here in Australia. I'll put a link down below in the description to the ANCAP website and also the ANCAP YouTube test. But good to know it's also received a 5-star, which is the best you can get. And details here on a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty and a 7-year battery warranty. There's some fine print involved with that, but take it at face value, 7 years is a good warranty by any matter of means for any car, let alone an electric vehicle. So that's just covered off the run through from that collage of images and the descriptions below each one. Again, a nice website overall, easy to navigate and nice looking images of the car itself. If we jump from the Excite 51 to the Excite 64, based in New South Wales, Australia, the Excite 51 kilowatt hour battery is 40,709 drive away. If we jump to the Excite 64, it's 46,709, exactly 6,000 more. And for that you get no other extra features apart from the range increased to 450 kilometres with that 64 kilowatt hour battery and almost identical performance. There's $6,000 purely on increase in lithium battery size, and I believe this was the model that they were going to bring out as the base model originally, until they sort of admitted that they entered a price war to be the cheapest EV in Australia with the BYD Dolphin at around 40Ks, and then they brought in the Excite 51 as the base model. The step up from the Excite 64 to the Essence 64 is $3,000 more, and there you're starting to get some improvements in the actual bodywork and trim and interior. So again, the number is the battery size, same as the Excite 64 for you. So for your extra $3,000, You're really getting extra kit this time, same size battery, same size motor. You're getting the EV planner, you're getting 6-speaker sound system, you're getting the twin aero rear spoiler, front seat heating. Finally, you're getting wireless smartphone charging, electric folding seats, electric folding mirrors, 360 camera, 2-level boot, PU leather and fabric seats, so a bit of a combination, a step up in the upholstery, and now 18-inch alloys, again with premium aero covers, so larger wheels, but still with covers. Big step up there, but basically it's fit and finish here for $3,000. And then the big jump again, the Essence to the long range 77, up $8,000 from $49,707 to $57,707. This time, no extra features on the inside, same body kit, same features, same styling, but you're getting the larger battery, the 77 kilowatt battery this time, giving you the longer range of 530 kilometers WLTP. That gives you the range. There's essentially two categories of spec, the Excite 51 and the Excite 64. And then the Essence 64 and the long range 77 is the battery size. Overall, we were really impressed with the MG4. It looks great, it looks modern, it's a great interpretation of what we think an EV should look like. It feels nice to sit in, it's really comfortable. Again, about Toyota Corolla size, and from what we've heard, it's really nippy and handy around town. Really nice to drive and easy to park, no problems. Sure, there's some limitations on the base model. It has been designed to ensure that it gets you a car around about 40 grand, but I think the limitations you can live with. We love the website, presents the car, all the options, and the different models in the range really easily. And to book a test drive is really easy. We jumped on, entered our details, and we got an immediate response back from our local representative here at Sydney City MG. We're looking forward to spending more time in the MG, and when we do, we'll let you know how we go. If you'd like any other information about the MG4, or you'd like to compare it or test drive it with any other EV, or just like to have a chat about which EV would be best for you, I'm Roscoe, this is AmazingEV, and you can contact me at roscoe@amazingev.com.au or www.amazingev.com.au. I'm Roscoe, and this has been AmazingEV.